I'm not going to lie. I started singing Ding Dong the Wicked Witch is Dead as soon as that empty net goal went in. Zuccarello, great game, but I'm going to say right now, tonight was another night of Henrik Lundqvist being Henrik Lundqvist. And we haven't seen this Henrik Lundqvist in a couple years in a playoff game. Montreal is in that place. Minnesota's in. Chicago's in. What do you do? What do you fix? Montreal, kind of an anemic offense. I think when they added sandpaper guys like Shaw and Ott, all I thought was, and the goals are coming from where? You have to be able to roll 4 skilled lines. And as much as Arturi Lehkonen had a fantastic rookie season and looks like he's a top 6 forward in the future, Montreal needs to be able to score more goals than this. Lundqvist is one of the best of all time. He is. And now in round 2, they'll face the winner of Ottawa-Boston. The great thing is, because Boston won last night, they're actively in the playoffs at least one day longer than Montreal. There's no bragging rights in Canada for Calgary fans over my Bruins or Montreal, and I feel better. But think about how wide open these playoffs are. Think about that. The Rangers will play the winners of Ottawa and Boston to decide who goes to the Final Four. You have St. Louis playing Nashville to decide who's going to go to the Final Four. And Edmonton could knock out San Jose tonight to go up against Anaheim in the second round. This is crazy. This has been one of the most insane playoffs I've seen. After Game 3, after Montreal won Game 3, I believed the Rangers were done. I was like, well, great. Here we go again. Montreal's going to win again, and I'm going to have to listen to it because that's what happens, whether it's fans online, different message boards. I'm not talking about fans on the channel. I want to make that clear. I'm not talking about Montreal fans on this channel. There's some good guys out there, just like I'm a decent Boston fan. Don't say anything. I am a decent Boston fan. But the Rangers found it. They found that certain quality that you need at this time of year. The same thing the Blues found, which is a hot goaltender. I remember the years that Detroit won the Stanley Cup with Chris Osgood, and people said, well, just goes to show you don't need a really good goaltender to win a Stanley Cup. Osgood was fantastic the years he won a Stanley Cup with Detroit. Like, very, very good those years. So in terms of, and there's the Montreal, I feel bad for Carey Price. None of this is on Carey Price. Carey Price played fantastic, just like Devin Dubnyk did for Minnesota. The goaltending was fine for Montreal. That's not the problem. This isn't a Carey Price choked. He didn't choke. But Shea Weber ran out of gas. They couldn't get sustained pressure tonight. So here's the thing now. Now everybody wants Radulov to stay in Montreal, and I don't think Montreal fans are going to be swayed by this series. But the question that I ask myself is Montreal's core, as it's created, as it's right now chiseled in granite, is it good enough to get to that next level? Galchenyuk's a fantastic young forward. I have no issues with Galchenyuk. My issue is who's he passing the puck to? Who's the sniper? Pacioretty? This is another playoff where Pacioretty, I'm sure Montreal fans will tear him a new one. Because if there's anything I've noticed with Montreal Canadian fans, it's they criticize their own team more than any fans in the NHL outside of maybe Vancouver. Canuck fans are never happy. Canucks could be on a 12-game winning streak, and you'd still have fans beacon off about somebody who's played a bad game in the last couple of weeks. But I'm telling you, this Rangers team, I don't know. I said during the season, I think you're better off just linger around and face the winner of the Atlantic. You're going to have an easier time than you will against Pittsburgh or Washington. Well, Pittsburgh clobbered Columbus. And I have no doubt in my mind that Pittsburgh would beat the Rangers. The thing is, the Rangers don't have to worry about meeting Pittsburgh until round 3. And the Rangers now get to move on and face the winner of Ottawa-Boston. Now, whoever wins Ottawa-Boston gets home ice because they're the higher seed going into the playoffs. But I'm telling you, if it's the Rangers and, let's say Boston. Let's just go out there and say Boston. I'm not going to. Well, they'd have to win the next 2 games. It's possible. It's possible we could see a 3-1 comeback, but it definitely looks like this year's playoffs, they want to get them done quick. They don't want Game 7s. So, I have a funny feeling the Oilers win tonight. And the entire Western Conference is set. And then tomorrow we see Washington and Ottawa likely finish things off. Toronto could definitely force a Game 7. I have no doubt in my mind. And Washington could choke away a 3-2 series lead. But, based on what I'm looking at here, I don't know. It's going to create some interesting matchups in the next round. If the Rangers play Ottawa, that's 2 teams that I think are really similar to one another. Lundqvist and Anderson, I'm taking Lundqvist, but it's not by as much as people might think. If Washington plays Pittsburgh, past the popcorn, I'm going to sit and watch that series all 4 or 5 games that last till Pittsburgh knocks them out and destroys my Stanley Cup prediction of Washington. But I will, at least my Stanley Cup prediction for Washington, they outlasted the Blackhawks, the Flames, the Wild, and the Canadiens. So it's not as embarrassing as it could have been. Other than the fact that, you kind of have to ignore I had the Blackhawks in the final against the Capitals. But we'll see how it turns out. So if you're a Rangers fan, this is kind of a night to celebrate. If you're a Montreal fan, you got to kind of lament. It's another season of Carey Price's prime that's gone. So you win in the regular season. He puts up great stats. He's a great goaltender. That is gone. And with any NHL player, whether it's forward, defenseman, goaltender, those prime years don't come back. And for Carey Price, it's got to be a tremendous disappointment. I'm sure that coming out of this game, he's going to be probably kicking himself for the goals that went in. But he should also be looking around the dressing room and thinking, man, if these guys could have just got one in past Lundqvist. You have to think if this game had gone to overtime, if Montreal had tied it, you have to think that Montreal probably wins the game. I would say 80% chance Montreal wins the game if this game had gone to overtime. But we'll see what happens. I'm happy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, I'm neutral. I'm down the middle 90% of the time on this channel, but I'm very happy that the Rangers took out Montreal. No matter what happens from here, the Ducks could win the Stanley Cup. That would suck for me personally, but at least it's not Montreal. And it's bad too because we had 5 Canadian teams alive in the playoffs. Now we're down to 3. So 2 of the first 4 teams eliminated Canadian. Potentially tomorrow we see another one eliminated. Potentially. So again, a lot of Canadian teams make the playoffs. How many of them are actually contenders? That's the question. John Shannon made a statement tonight on Sportsnet where he told Martin Gaillard he believes that now that Chicago's out, Minnesota's out, Edmonton has a clear path to the Stanley Cup. And then just kind of throws in, of course, they have to get past Anaheim first. Yeah, they have to get past Anaheim first. Yeah. And even then, let's say they get past Anaheim. Let's go that far. We're just going to disregard St. Louis or Nashville? Because I'm not. I disregarded Nashville in the first round. Look where that got me. Other people were disregarding St. Louis going to the playoffs. Oh, they had an easy run of games. They had a simple schedule. They didn't have the kind of rough ride that Minnesota had. So Minnesota's, a better team going into the playoffs. Nope. And now here we are. And Edmonton could very well be going to the next round. We'll see what happens. But congratulations to Henrik Lundqvist. Congratulations to the New York Rangers. A hard-fought 6-game victory and a very impressive 6-game victory. I am a Rangers fan tonight. I really am. Because again, and it's not towards anybody. If you're watching this, I'm not saying this to you. There are Montreal fans who are insufferable when Montreal does well. Insufferable. Yeah, how about those Habs, huh? And as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, God, no, it's a Montreal fan. Oh, how about those Habs? Oh, how about them? 24 years since the Stanley Cup, but yeah, how about those Habs? And then anytime you bring that up, they go, it's more recent than any other Canadian team. Yeah, because Canada sucks. This is a great conversation. I'm so glad we're having this. Why can't a forklift run me over? Not that this is a conversation I've ever had at work. With forklifts driving around at my workplace. Ever. And I've wanted to step out in front of them or anything. No. Never. Alright. Congratulations again, New York. Good luck in the next round. If it's against Boston, have fun. And if it's the Rangers and Ottawa in the next round, I'm just going to enjoy knowing Montreal's out. I'm going to be like, you know what? Whoever wins this series, it's good because it's not Montreal. And for Ottawa, okay, because Ottawa struggled against Montreal, this is good news. Because I don't think Ottawa matches up well against Montreal, but I do think against the Rangers, you've got a 7-game series there. I think that's a fantastic series. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And no hard feelings, Montreal fans, I hope. I didn't wear your jersey today. I wore Boston all day. Isn't that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I wore Boston
Absolutely.
all day. Because I'm really proud that Boston didn't get eliminated last night. When a team doesn't get knocked out in an elimination game, I'm proud of them. So I'm a little bit proud of Minnesota as well because they forced a Game 5. They made it interesting. And who knows? If Eric Stahl doesn't get injured, who knows what may have ended up happening with that game. But that's for another time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thanks for watching. And I'll be talking to you all again really soon. Because now we've got Edmonton and San Jose. So enjoy the hockey.